Hey there. Normally I would say, hi, this is Jamie from Jamie Riddler Studios. But as of now, this is Jamie from the School of Creative Magic. Yay! So much has changed behind the scenes, and there's so much to share with you. But let's start out in the way that I start out most of my classes. I feel like I want to quote the beginning of the studio invocation, which is whether you're here for the first time or the thousandth time, may you feel welcome. And let me light a candle to get us started. Normally, I use this fantastic candle lighter, but today I'm going to use the match just because the sound is nicer. Here we are. We're going to light this candle. And as I do, let this flame create a connection between you and I. Let it bring us together in creative conversation. Let it help guide the way. I have been wanting to come and talk to you for so long, and there was something this week that prompted it. There's so much, it's hard to know where to start. So, first of all, I want to share with you something about the way my creativity works and how that's sometimes reflected by the things that come out in the world. I tend to see all the things that want to be created through me all at once. Like they just arrive and I know, oh, okay, we're going to do that. And what needs to take place in the material world is then I need to figure out time. So this is something for those of you who've done planning day, for those of you who've done devotion, this is something I talk about all the time, which is we take as artists, as creatives, we take this energy that shows up, something that wants to be created, and we move it from the ethereal realm, from the realm of air and imagination and ideas, and we move it bit by bit down into the material world, in the creative world, in the hands-on physical world, where other people can see it and understand it and engage with it. And that's a part of our job. Is I always think of it like the magician's card, one hand up receiving and then one hand down creating. And so we're that kind of channel for creative energy. There's some people that really love this idea phase, this airy phase. I get so comfortable up there. Everything feels possible. There's a million ideas. It's fun. It's light. And then some people up there in the ethers feel like, whoa, this is confusing. I feel so ungrounded. I don't know what to do. There's too many choices. And then down here in the earthly realm, some people are like, okay, good. Now I can do something. Now I can make a plan. Now I can use my hands. Now we're dealing with some tangible things. I know how to do that. And other people are like, oh God, here it feels so heavy. It feels so limiting. It feels crunchy. I feel so contained here in the earthly realm. And so each of us is looking for a kind of sweet spot on the spectrum where we can actually bring those ideas into being. That's a process. It's something that we as artists learn over time and practice. And I want to tell you that sometimes it's really uncomfortable. There's always going to be spots in the creative process that are uncomfortable. Often it's that switching point. It's that place where air and earth are meeting and they're negotiating. They're discussing with each other, like how much is air going to give up in order for something to come to earth, and how spacious is earth going to get in order to hold what air wants to say. And so for me, that sometimes happens, that negotiation happens as I try to understand something in time. as I try to have a realistic view of how much can be done over what period of time. So, I have this great vision for this show. I have so many ideas that I want to bring to life, so many conversations I want to have, so many things I want to do with you. And then also just on August 1st, we launched the School of Creative Magic. And this is so exciting. It's a new container, a new magical space to hold the body of work that I have been creating for 20 years and that has always been housed at Jamie Ridler Studios. It's like everything was building and building and building in Jamie Ridler Studios until it could not contain anymore. Like we were full to the rafters and full to the brim, and there's always more ideas. So it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we thought, okay, so let's make a new space. And this is something that occurred to me like a year ago. And I thought, oh, well, we'll do it now. And that was just, again, time. It was not what the School of Creative Magic needed. The School of Creative Magic needed me to get to know it. This is something I teach in Devotion too, which is my 3-month immersive program for artists. And we've just started with the current group. So hi, artists, I see you. That idea that wants to come through you, first, get to know it. Get to know it yourself. Talk to each other. Understand each other, express your needs to one another, fall in love with each other. And so that's what I did for the first while. I started to try to understand, what does the School of Creative Magic want to be? But I knew 100% that it wanted to be, and it was coming into form. It was just a matter of how and when. So there was no doubt about what, it was just a matter of how and when. So I really have spent the last year understanding the idea better, understanding what it's going to do better, understanding what it looks like, feels like, what its personality is. And it's got a bit of a different tone than Jamie Ridler Studios. Jamie Ridler Studios is always based on this idea of white walls and wood floors and like big window, sort of spacious and airy. And the School of Creative Magic is like deep and rich and epic and, of course, magical. And it's where you find your calling and where you answer. And it's been really exciting for me because it's given me an opportunity to go deeper and to bring more of me and how I see the world and where my work has changed me and how much more I have to bring to it and to you. And so that took precedence over what sometimes I just call the show. So I really do still think that Creative Living with Jamie is going to be what you all know as the podcast, where I do interviews or sometimes I talk to you. It's also going to be the behind the scenes. It's also going to be like exercises I want to do with you. I just want to have one show, the show, and still called Creative Living with Jamie. And I want to show up for it. And a little bit of inspiration came to me this weekend. I got to get teary, but my sister Shannon shared with me this documentary that's coming on to Prime. And for those of you who are Canadian, you'll know. And for those of you who are from elsewhere, I'll leave a link so maybe you can get a little flavor. So there's a documentary coming out on one of my heroes, one of my role models, and his name was Mr. Dressup. And he had a beautiful kids show when I was a little girl, and it was full of imagination and art and gentleness and kindness. And you felt like you would always go on an amazing adventure together. You felt like everyone was welcome. And I really, the older I get and the more of my own work I do, the more I see his influence in the way I see the world and in the way I see my work. And one of the things that was so moving to me when I saw the documentary was there are many Canadian artists, comedians, musicians, actors who talk about him with love. And you could see that he influenced them too. He had an impact as he was trying on costumes or drawing a scene or interacting with Casey and Finnegan, his puppet pals on the show. And it made me feel in good company too. And it helped me understand that just by being who we are, we can send some sparkle into someone else's life. And so that really made me want to come back. And it made me want to absolutely let go of needing to get it right or perfect or filmed well or edited spectacularly, all of which I love and desire. If I go back to the very first behind the scenes or some of my very early videos, and this is the nature of being an early adopter with things too, is, sometimes the sound is crappy, sometimes it's dark and fuzzy. Some things like that were just the norm back in the day. And I will be on a journey of continuing improvement. And I know the show will show me the way. And in the meantime, one of my deep beliefs is to not let things get in your way. Like, what's the important part here? The important part here is connecting with you. The important part is, do I have something that maybe if I share it will make a difference to you today? Can something be brightened or awakened or challenged or whatever? And the other side of that is, so this is a very intimate thing I'm going to share with you. The other side of this is also, as I'm getting older, which I'm more and more, I'm thankful for, as I'm getting older, I have found it a little bit more challenging to show up. And one of the things that I want, like one of the things I so deeply believe is we need all of us. We need all of us at all stages of our life. And so that means me too. And that means me now. And that means me when I'm 67. And that means me when I'm 72. And that means me when I'm 85. And hopefully I'll see all those days and I'll see you there. And so it's taken a little bit for me to work through these things too, and to decide that it's not the technology and it's not my age or stage and it's not how things look and it's none of that. It's showing up with your heart and sharing what you have to share and trusting that that matters. Even if you don't know how, even if you don't know how. So here I am. And thank you, Mr. Dressup. And thank you to the School of Creative Magic, which is now our official sponsor here at Creative Living with Jamie. And I am going to take you on a little bit of a journey to show you what's there. But I really do hope you'll stop by and visit it yourself. It's easy to find, theschoolofcreativemagic.com. Of course, I'll leave links. I hope this is encouraging to you too. I hope it encourages you to show up and to be on the journey of letting the things you want to create you too. Letting them flow through you, finding your way through the uncomfortable bits, finding that relationship between air and earth. And in the School of Creative Magic, and here when I share with you, this is always my intention, is to help you on that journey. So let me take you over to the School of Creative Magic. Let me show you what it's like over there. So here we are. I hope you'll come and sit by the fire. I'm not going to go through the page because I want you to have that voyage of discovery yourself. But I want you to know that at the heart of this is an invitation to reunite with your creative magic. The creative magic is something that lives inside of you. It's something you know, something you feel, something that may be very present in your life or maybe has been a little distant of late and is calling you back home, which is why you are here. One of the things I know about those of us who are creatives is that our call to magic lives in the world of the arts. It lives in creating art. It lives in stories. It lives in film and poems and dances and songs and music, that which we create and also that which we receive from others. And if that feels like a world that you recognize or want to step into, I invite you to come over and join the school. You'll get access to our library, which has some really lovely resources, including that 5-part series of different creative practices, a workshop you can do each day. So come and join for that. I want you to also remember the studio yearbook. Some of you have done this with me before. It is currently available, and it does welcome you into a whole new creative world. If you are someone who is returning to your creativity, if you're someone who's aching to establish a practice, if you are someone who loves journals and papers and pens and washi tape, stickers, and then this is also for you. I'm just going to show you mine for a moment. So this is my fall studio yearbook. Oh, I had so much fun making stamps for it. One of the things I really love and encourage other people to do is, oh, look, the School of Creative. I really didn't intend to open it on launch day, but this is where I can remember all the things about the first day we opened the School of Creative Magic. And one of the things I've been really wanting to do is to lean more and more into my own creations in my studio yearbook. So I made some stamps just out of that rubber stamping material that you can buy. And then I used some carving tools and I made this, which serves as washi tape, but it's made with my own hands. And these and these. And in your studio yearbook, some of the things you do every day, you do a little documenting of your day because I want you to remember your life. You know, I listen to often these, I'm sorry, young minimalist guys, but these young minimalist guys who are like, you have the memory, you don't need the thing. But you know what? As you get older, your memory doesn't hold it's like as your house gets fuller, you don't remember or see every little detail. And so sometimes it really helps just to have a simple, like just a simple, this is the day we went to X restaurant and I had the best French toast of my life while I sat around the table and talked about music with the men in my family. Like that happened. And it was meaningful. And just that, a couple of sentences can take me back there. We also encourage an inspiration practice by looking for inspiration every day. So I'm going to give you that as homework today. Okay. So one of the things we think is that if we hang out, inspiration will find us and we're going to just wait to do anything until it does. But inspiration is something that we want to create a relationship with. If we think about inspiration as a muse or a fairy, that's sort of flying about, and she doesn't know that we are aching to hang out with her unless we tell her. So if we look around every day, actively looking for inspiration and then tracking it in our studio yearbook, just marking it down, like one inspiration day I had Mr. Dress Up. And then that led me to be here with you today because Mr. Dress Up was in my inspiration box one day in my studio yearbook. There's many, many, many more practices. So if you're looking to establish a creative practice, if you're looking to tune into inspiration, we have a spot for your gratitude every day. So that's a practice you can develop. There's a spot for you to put down something you learned each day. This is such a beautiful thing, not to just let each day pass you by, but to just take a moment and say, what's something I understand at the end of this day that I didn't understand at the start of it? And it can be something totally practical, like this is the temperature that chicken is cooked at. Or it could be a deep new understanding of the nature of life or your life. It can, all of those things are valid and can be tracked there. So that's the Studio Yearbook. It's a seasonal journal. And so whenever you're listening to this, there will be some journal that is in process or about to be in process. Right now, as I'm recording, it's the Fall Studio Yearbook that is ready to go. Okay, let me show you what else is here. So also, this is a brand new offering that is going to start in January, but you can sign up for it now. It's called the Studio. And my intention for the Studio is that we all come together for what will be a year of creative magic. For those of you who've done the Studio Yearbook before, it's going to be kind of like taking the yearbook off the page and living into it. So we are going to go through the year and we will mark the new moon. We will mark the change of season. We will mark the full moon by creating dream boards. And the intention really is to support you in creating a practice that nourishes your creative spirit and brings to life your creative magic. And there's some live things that go on with this too that I'm so excited about. One, we're going to do live studio sessions together. So once a month, we're going to have a time when we gather and we make, right? So we can say to each other, hey, you know what I'm going to make today? I'm going to make a new book. I'm doing bookbinding, and that's what I'm going to work on. And then we go and we do it, and then we come back and we celebrate. It's such a simple thing, but for so many of us, our creative pursuits are solitary. And this is a way that we can be in community while creating. So I invite you to come and have a look at this. Practice will be your portal to creative magic. One of the other things that we're going to do live, and I'm so excited about this. Again, it's such a simple thing, but I'm so excited about it. And here's why. Like, if you look over here, like this is a very, very, that's just my currently reading, but it's a small over there. I've got this massive pile of books to read and I never get to them. I don't know about you. Are you doing as much reading as you'd like to do? I know I'm not. And so I also built in a reading hour so that once a month we'll get together and we'll just spend an hour. We'll say, hey, what are you reading? And everyone will drop their reading in the chat. I'm so excited for that too, because can you imagine the book list we're going to create? Like, imagine having a circle of really kind, cool, sensitive, creative buddies and knowing what they're reading. What a great way to build a reading list. And so we'll help with that. We'll gather those and create a list for everybody. And then we're just going to sit and read, have a cuppa, hang out. And then, I don't know, at the end, maybe we'll share one thing we really enjoyed or one thing we learned. But it's just, the whole idea is to create a sense of structure and support that you can lean into so you can actually be doing the things that you long to do, including reading, creating, celebrating the seasons, making dream boards. Every month we'll have a Q&A. So if anything, anywhere you get stuck, like, I will be there and you will be in community. And I hope you'll check it out. It's called The Studio. And then I've mentioned Devotion. I'll just give you a quick show. So Devotion is my 3-month immersion program here at the School of Creative Magic, where artists step in for 3 months, 12 weeks of fully embracing themselves as artists and also making a body of work. It is deep. It is transformational. It is intimate. It is a beautiful space. I'm not going to spend too much time here because we've just started the fall season, and I will not be able to offer this again until at the earliest fall 2024. But we will have a wait list up here, and I do contact the wait list first, and I do give the wait list first dibs on signing up. So if that sounds interesting to you, come on over and check that out and sign up for the wait list. And then also I have, oh, this picture is priceless. For each page we were working on, my dear friend and the production coordinator at the School of Creative Magic, Kim LeClaire, and you can find her at eastwillow.com. I'll link to her too. We had the most amazing time creating this site together, and it always started with an image. And when we found this, we really understood what we were doing here with what I call creative mentorship. And these are one of sessions that you can book with me. And they're really designed for people who are stepping into the world of creative entrepreneurship, who are getting ready to share their work with the world, people who are in what I call the performance stage of the creative journey. And that really just means sharing publicly. And if you just need to have an hour to talk to somebody who knows about, look, I'm struggling to design my program. How can I bring this all together? Or how do I know I'm ready to start selling my work? Or I'm about to put on a show and my nerves are making me like, making it really hard for me to proceed. So it's a one-on-one, it's 1 hour, it's a bit of coaching and also a bit of me sharing, because I've built my own creative work, my own creative business, the creative business for 20 years, and then my own work for really a lifetime. And if I know something that will help, I will share that thing that will help. I will not hold it back. You know, if I have a resource, I'll share it. If I have a strategy that worked for me, or I've seen work with clients, then I'll share it with you. But it's really a time for you and me to dig deep into what you're hoping for, what you're dreaming about. Or maybe you're like, oh, I really want to do something, but I don't know what it is. Maybe if I could talk with somebody about it for an hour, maybe we could find our way. And it includes 2 weeks of support afterwards. And one of the reasons I did that was I don't want you to come in and have this conversation with me and go, yeah, that was cool, and then leave and just forget all about it. Because that happens all the time, right? And then we get into a cycle of signing up for something, hiring somebody, taking a class, and it feels like that's the action, but the action is what happens afterwards. It's what you do with what you've learned. And I want you to have some support for that. So when you leave, you'll have next steps, and then you'll go and do them, and you'll then celebrate them with me. Or if you got stuck, you can say, hey, Jamie, I really want, I know we said this would be a great next step, and here's where I got stuck. And then you and I can work it out. So we find the next right step, or a smaller piece of that step, or how to sidestep that step. You know, sometimes all we need is someone to help us get started or to get over a hurdle. And that's what those creative mentorship hours are for. So if that sounds like you, come and check them out. So this is really a coming together of what I call the studio way. And it's made up of 4 component pieces, 4 cornerstones: creative practice, creative projects, creative performance, and presence. So practice, projects, performance, and presence. These are not, by the way, hierarchical. You can bounce between them like this. And for example, if you're in the mode of performance, you are always going to also need practice. Like the best ballet dancers in the world still come to the bar, right? And so this is an ecosystem. And some people will never be interested in doing performance, and that's cool. You can absolutely build a powerful, meaningful, deep, transformational, creatively magical life focused on practice. And then if you want, projects. Like generally what happens is as you practice, your energy starts to, and it wants to take form. It wants to be a thing. And that's a project. So creative practice, studio yearbook, you can start right now. The studio, we start in January. Both of those things will support creative practice. If you are in creative projects, devotion is a great way to take on a big project like writing a book or creating your album or creating a series. Creating a body of work is something you bring to devotion, but also because devotion is full right now, that is something you can bring to a creative mentorship session. And then performance, we're working on how we're going to support that more. I've got a program that, again, me and time probably won't be in place for a year, maybe two, because I have an idea what 2024 is going to be all about. So it might be 2025. But if you're in performance, like you are working on sharing your work, and that could just mean learning to sell your art, starting a new business, then come to Creative Mentorship, book a session with me. That is the world of the School of Creative Magic. I hope you come and take a look. I hope you explore. I hope it sparks something in you. And I want you to know too, it's like everything has changed and nothing has changed. I'm still me. I'm still creating the same kind of work. I'm still here to support deeply and gently highly sensitive, creative souls who want to, like, I really think it comes down to three things. I think it comes down to these three things. I think we want to be ourselves, fully expressed in the world, be ourselves. I think we want to love our life. We want to cultivate a life that feels like home, that is alive with our own creative energy, where we feel our sense of agency, where we feel a sense of home, familiarity, expression, where we look around our life and go, yeah, wow, this reflects me and my desires and my preferences and my choices. So we want to be ourselves. We want to love our lives. And then we want to create. We want to create what is in us to create. We want to do that work. We want to put into forms our ideas, our essence, our call. We want to make it. Ultimately, all of my work is to support those things for you, sensitive, creative souls. I want you to be yourself. I want you to love your life. And I want you to create what you are here to create. And everything I do and always have done in my work and everything I will continue to do in a deeper and deeper way at the School of Creative Magic is to support that. If that speaks to you, come on over and sign up. Like I said, you get immediate access to our library. Consider doing the studio yearbook or joining the studio for January or signing up for a creative mentorship session with me. Oh, and yeah, signing up for the wait list for devotion. There's so much aching to come through, and I am doing my very best to show up for it. And I invite you to do the same, my dear creative friend. Thanks for being here with me today. I'm so glad we're connected. I'll see you soon.